with OTAs. Okay, we're going to focus in on Miami, where Tua Tagovailoa, of course, is a big piece of the conversation. He's going to make just over $23 million this year on his fifth-year rookie option, the 14th highest cap hit amongst quarterbacks. He's set to be a free agent at the end of the year, and the Dolphins could extend him, but the quarterback contracts have been pretty pricey. Or they could tag him after this season, but the QB tag was over $38 million for this year and figures to be higher next year. So let's go right to Adam on this. We did see Tua arrive at OTAs today. So he's there. What's the latest on his contract situation?
Well, the fact that he's there is a good start, Laura. Both sides would like to see if they could find a way to get a contract extension worked out. There's really no reason for Tua to stay away from the team during OTAs when this team has been fully behind him while they're trying to get a contract worked out. My understanding is it's not particularly close at this point in time, but both sides would like to get this deal done, wrapped up as soon as possible. You would think before the season would begin. The issue would be this. Tua right now is scheduled, as you pointed out, to count just over $23.5 million. We just saw Jared Goff get done last week to an average of about $53 million a year. So now we've begun to see some of the other comparable quarterback deals out there. Are the Dolphins willing to go that high? Is Tua willing to hold out for a little bit more? How does that work out? And how does it work out with his injury history, specifically his history of concussions? Is he willing to go into a season without a new deal, playing with his history? Are the Dolphins taking that into consideration? A lot of questions to answer here for both sides. The fact of the matter is, he's there today. Both sides want to get this worked out. There's still plenty of time to get it worked out, and we'll see if they can get it done at some point this summer.
Yeah, the truth is, Tua is the best quarterback the Dolphins have had since Dan Marino. This is the longest streak in the NFL when it comes to an organization not having a playoff win, 23 years. This is by far the most realistic it is to ending that streak with Tua at quarterback. Schefty's point, there's two angles to this, and it's not an easy decision. Tua, the player, like just the quarterback on the field, you sit there and say, no brainer, pay him. When you look at the player the last two seasons, he's top 5 in everything that matters when it comes to quarterback play. This would be one of the easiest contracts. This would be Joe Burrow. This would be Josh Allen. This would be Patrick Mahomes when it comes to, yeah, let's just get this done. There's two sides to this, though, and Schefty kind of intimated that. If you're the Dolphins, you're sitting there going, injury history. This dates back all the way to college, okay? The ankle, the dislocated hip. He had a finger, the thumb, the broken ribs in the NFL, the concussion that Schefty talks about, but also back and ankle. So there's one side that says, yeah, I mean, what's the number? You name it. And then there's another side that's a very real part of this for the Dolphins, that you can understand them having some form of reservation. And I hate saying that because I love Tua, but that's a reality between both parties.
And I think part of that reality is why Tua went to such extreme lengths to make sure he was healthy last year. You talked about him putting on weight and even working on how to fall, how to take a hit. Even Mike McDaniel changing the offense in so many ways, at least what he's trying to do with Tua to keep him healthy. And so him staying healthy last year is why he was able to lead the NFL in passing yards and be as effective as they were. And so for me, I understand both angles, but I look at, okay, if I don't pay Tua right now, don't have him be our long-term quarterback, it wasn't looking pretty when he wasn't our starting quarterback. Like when he went down in 2022, the team went down as well. And so for me, I'm thinking, okay, with him and Mike McDaniel and the weapons on the outside and Raheem, most of our offense is built around him and his skill set. It's almost like you have to pay him and trust that he's going to continue to do the work in the offseason to keep himself injury-free.
You know, I think back to when Dan and I had a Monday Night Football game there in Miami, and just listening to Tua talk about Mike McDaniel, the bond that they have, we can't discount that. That's real.
Oh, no doubt.
He's meant to the organization currently. I do think that matters when it comes to these contract situations. Drake Maye, now another Patriots quarterback, had 23 passing or rushing touchdowns. You saw him in that room, too, with Brady, while under pressure in his final 2 seasons at UNC, trailing only Caleb Williams for the most in the FBS. That's something he's likely going to need to continue in New England. Last season, the Patriots offensive line ranked last in pass block win rate, according to ESPN Analytics and NFL Next Gen stats. Head coach Gerard Mayo spoke about Maye's prep earlier today.
He's learning a new playbook. He's learning a new language. He's learning his teammates. He's learning, fundamentals that we preach here. So it's a lot for him. At the same time, I know he can handle it. You can already tell, like, he's going to put in that extra work. I walk by the quarterback meeting room. He's just in there by himself watching film. And those are the things that you want to see, and excited to see his growth going forward.
Gerard looks like he participated there. ESPN Patriots reporter Mike Reiss joining us from Patriots OTAs today. Mike, what more can you tell us about what you saw from the quarterbacks today?
Hey, Laura, I came to this part of the practice field because I wanted to come to this net. This is where I saw the most interesting part of practice to me with Drake Maye. They had him going through the bags, and then offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt would call out the color, blue, white, red, and Maye would have to throw the ball into the hole. I watched him nail his first two, just sort of trying to marry up his footwork with his accuracy. The other thing I would say, the Patriots are taking it really slow with Drake Maye. He didn't just work behind veteran Jacoby Brissett in this practice, but also behind Bailey Zappi. So head coach Jerod Mayo said there's no timetable for when Maye might become the starting quarterback, and that was certainly apparent here today. Laura?
Mike sounded like he could coach him out there. Good job, Mike. Dan, you heard, I know, the best. You heard what Mike said. Basically,
Two things,
he's
though,
the
about
third
what Mike
quarterback.
said, real quick.
Go
I didn't
ahead.
mean to cut you off. Two things that I did like to hear from Mike. One, the taking it slow. Two, the marrying of the feet with his arm and the release. Like, that's the big thing that he needs to work on. I love the fact that it sounds like hit the ground running, attacking it.
He is, but they're also giving him time and they're being patient with him. Let's throw the schedule up for the Patriots, because I want to know, when you look at this schedule, when you think Maye should take over as the starter.
You know, if you watched any time of me and us talking about Drake Maye and the Patriots during the draft process, I don't think he should take a meaningful snap until 2025. So we'll take a brief look at the 2024 regular season. I would not put him into this situation when it comes to on the road at the Bengals, on the road at the Jets, or on the road at the 49ers early on. The focal point for me would be, I don't expect the Patriots to be in the conversation for a playoff contending football team. So you get to week 14 in the bye, and then you have the final 4 games. None of those teams sit there and say, I think this is going to be like this daunting defense. Maybe Buffalo, but I think that with the bye, more than likely out of that playoff conversation, you can sit there and say, Drake, you're going to take the bye week. You're going to become the starting quarterback of the New England Patriots. You're going to step in and get all those reps. And maybe these final 4 games, I would actually be okay with the final 2, to be candid with you. Patrick Mahomes did the final week 18 game or week 17 game back then against the Denver Broncos. But if I was the Patriots, to Mike Reiss's report, I wouldn't rush this. I would be calm and patient with that. And if anything, bye week, final 4 games.
You said about not having Drake Maye take a meaningful snap until 2025. I think that's extremely important. But I also enjoy the piece of, okay, end of the season, bye week. What if we had you the last 2, 3, maybe 4 games, to your point, prepare as if you are the starter? We saw Patrick Mahomes, to your point, do it his rookie year. And so almost getting that mentality of, okay, maybe not a meaningful snap per se as you're the full-time starter, but let's actually get you in that mindset towards the end of the season so that when we get into year 2 for your future career, you're hitting the ground running. And so I think that mentality is actually a wise one. Now, you never know, right? Patriots could actually end up outperforming and maybe being better than a lot of people expected. But to your point, it shouldn't be meaningful until the end of the season when he starts preparing for next year.
Well, Sam, they could outperform expectations, but the fact of the matter is it's also May 20th. And while we all would agree today that it certainly seems plausible and logical to rest Drake Maye until late in the season, the fact of the matter is there's a real chance that the Patriots will go through some struggles at some point early in the season, in the middle of the season. And once they go through some struggles, and if and when they fall out of the playoff race, we know what all the fans are going to be screaming for. We know what all the conversation is going to be about. When do we get to see Drake Maye? And so this becomes a challenge for every team that drafts a quarterback every year. How long can they be patient? How long can they withstand all the calls for their rookie quarterback? And there have been any number of teams through the years who have said, we're not going to play our guy right away, only to play their guy sooner than people expect.
You guys think the chants are going to be like Drake, or Drake Maye, or how would you chant if you were chanting for him to get in the game?
Mad
at me right now.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be. I certainly don't think it's going to go Drake. I don't think it'll be that.
Okay. Well, the good thing is I don't usually sit in the stands, so I won't be doing any chanting.
What a humble brag,
Okay,
Schefter.
getting in Buffalo, where Josh Allen has been fantastic in the last 4 seasons, ranking behind only Patrick Mahomes in wins, total QBR, passing touchdowns, and passing yards. Here's what his former teammate and now Dolphin Jordan Poyer has said about him as he leaves Buffalo. He said, sorry we couldn't get it done, but you've got the best quarterback in the league. I know that might go viral, but it's okay. I get to see y'all twice a year. I can't wait. Sam, Josh Allen, the best QB?
Well, I love the conversation. He's top 2, and he may not be 1 in the situation. But here's the thing. He's behind Patrick Mahomes in all those categories, but he also is ahead of Patrick Mahomes when it comes to total touchdowns. And so how prolific that we've seen Josh Allen, even with a lot of changes in offensive coordinator, right? Brian Daboll no longer there. We saw Dorsey. Now you got a new coordinator as well. I've been excited to see what he's been able to do, Josh Allen in Buffalo, with all the change.